Hello and welcome back to The Goodness Margin, the place where we find margin for the good things in life. Today is part 2 of our Minimalism Q&A Home Edition. I have put a question box out on Instagram and you guys have asked me wonderful questions. I love answering these questions because I know I am directly answering something that you want to know. So if there's a question you have that hasn't been answered in any of these videos, I would love for you to post it below in the comments and maybe it'll be on my next video. So let's get started. Question number 1. When choosing decor, do you try to combine functionality with aesthetics? And the answer is absolutely yes. So I totally want things to be beautiful. That's really important to me. I love the way that they look, but it has to be functional. I live in this home with my family and I want us all to be able to enjoy this space, not just to be beautiful, but for it also to be functional. So let me give you an example. In our living room, we needed a coffee table or an ottoman. And one that I had looked at was this beautiful glass square a coffee table. It had gold on the edges. It was just beautiful, but we were expecting a baby and I knew that she was going to be learning to walk and also those fingerprints everywhere. I wanted it to be beautiful, but I also wanted it to be functional for our family and not something that was a hazard. So we chose this really nice fabric covered ottoman. That brings me to my second point. I want things to be beautiful, but I also want my home to be easy to clean. So I'm not going to have a lot of knickknacks. I'm not going to have things that really don't hold a purpose. Another example is behind me. You can see I have these cake plates here. I think they're beautiful. I love cake plates. And so they add a pop of color to my kitchen, but they're also really functional. I'll grab them, clean them off, and I will use them on a very regular basis. Question number 2, how do you store recipes? I am tired of having a large recipe box. This is something that I feel like I finally found the answer to, and I actually have an entire blog post about it. I will link that below in the notes. But what I have done is I save all of my recipes as PDFs. So even the ones that I had that were handwritten, I scan them in, and those are all in Evernote. If I'm on Pinterest and I find a recipe that I like, I actually will go ahead and act like I'm going to print it. So I just have the recipe, not all of the extra photos and things like that. And then I save it as a PDF. And now anytime I want to go make that recipe, I don't have to search online. I don't have to make sure that the link isn't broken because many times you'll go to a recipe you used before and all of a sudden the link is no longer there. The website no longer exists. I have that PDF saved forever and you can organize them however you want in Evernote. So go check out that blog post for that. The third question is, what do you do about directions when you decant your food? So obviously decanting is pouring it into another container and I love to do this. This is those OXO pop tops. I love these. I use these for lots of things. So this is rice in a bag. What I do with something like this is I'm going to cut out the directions and I'm going to put them down inside. So you don't see it when it's on the shelf, but it's right here available for me. Now, if it's something that you regularly make and you have a label on the front, if you want, you can create another label for the back that'll live there to show exactly how to make that. But that way it's beautiful, you're keeping it airtight, but also you have the directions available right there for you. Question number 4, any advice on life with pets? My dog sheds so much. Now, we personally do not have any pets in the house. We did have a fish, but I don't think those quite qualify for a pet that you have to clean up after, like a dog or a cat or another animal that sheds. So I think that there's a few things that you can do. Number 1 is you want to understand that having a pet, you're definitely going to have to think about the fabric that your furniture is covered with. There are a lot of fabrics that will really grab pet hair. And so you may want to think of something like leather. It's easy to maintain. Another thing is to add into your cleaning routine, cleaning those spaces that seem to get dirty quicker. So for example, my daughter is going to make a lot more messes than my son did. He's a teenager. And so when she was added to the family, I had to adjust my cleaning routine a little bit so that I could clean up after her. I could pick up the clutter and things that she would leave behind. And it's the same thing with pets. You just want to be sure that you're adding into your cleaning routine the time and the discipline to vacuum the spaces. And then the last thing I would note is that you want to be sure that the cleaning tools that you have are for pets. I know they have a lot of vacuums that are specifically for cleaning up pet messes, and they have carpet cleaners, those types of devices that are specifically designed to help you keep pet hair and any other messes taken care of. Number 5, how do I get control of paper? I've tried unsubscribing, but it keeps coming. This is something that, it's a great question, and I get this question a lot. Something I feel like I've finally taken control over because it was a huge part of my life. I actually have some photos of my desk a few years ago where I would take a picture and send it to my sister like, oh my word, look at my desk. This is insane. One of the things that we've done is our family has gone paperless. And I actually have several different blog posts and videos regarding how we've gone paperless, and I will link those below. But I just want to share a few little tips with you. First of all, you want to deal with the paper before it comes in the door. One way to do that is you can freeze your credit. I know that when my husband and I, we decided to freeze our credit, and all of a sudden we stopped receiving so many of those credit card offers and things like that come in the mail. Another thing is when we go to the post office, I will usually, half of the mail is junk mail. Now, it's not something that needs to be shredded. If it's something with personal information, you want to be sure to bring that home and shred it. But I stand at the post office and I take all of that junk mail that I don't need and I throw it away immediately. The same thing with bring mail in the house. It doesn't sit on the counter. We quickly sort through it and throw away what needs to be thrown away, shred what needs to be shredded. And usually there are only a few pieces that are left that need to be taken care of. So many times we allow these big stacks of mail to pile up when the reality is there's only a few things in that mail that's important. You have a couple of options at that point. I do have an inbox that's near where I work. And if my family members are checking the mail, they'll drop it there. And so that way I can deal with the papers at that point. If I'm going through the mail and I realize there's just maybe a bill or just one thing that I need to open and put in my to scan file, I will go ahead and quickly do that, and I can take care of it pretty much immediately. And that way it keeps these papers from just hanging out and taking up so much space mentally and with clutter physically in our house. I hope that these questions have helped to answer something that you've been thinking about. And again, if you have a question, I'd love for you to post it in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you'll be notified when the next video goes live.